Hi everyone, it's Agnieszka from 5 Minute Language. Welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 8 different words and phrases in English that you learn from textbooks, but then when you go to the countries where English is spoken, people don't actually use them. So I totally had this experience when I was learning English myself. I learned these 8 phrases, and then when I went to England, I realized that that's not actually how real native speakers speak. So obviously there are some differences between British English and American English and other variations of English. I personally live in the UK, so I'm going to focus on how British English speakers speak, and if I can think of some differences between British English and other varieties, I will also mention them. So let's get started. So the first one is a phrase that's obviously covered in every single textbook about English. It's the simple phrase, good morning. And I'm not going to tell you that people never use this phrase, but instead people tend to say hello or hi. Sometimes people say good morning, but actually most of the time when you meet people in the morning, you just say hello, hi, or hi there. Sometimes in the UK, people also just say morning, and that basically means the same thing. The next one is also covered in all textbooks for beginners. It's the phrase, how do you do? How do you do is something that maybe in the past people used to use, but currently it's not really a very popular phrase. So instead, you can say, how are you? Or how is it going? And maybe in American English, you can also say, what's up? If you're American and I'm wrong, let me know. The next phrase is the phrase, not at all. So for example, you say, thank you, and somebody should reply, not at all, to say, you're welcome. That's not a problem. But really, people just say, that's okay, or you're welcome. Or they can say, no problem, or no problem at all. The next phrase is please repeat. So when you're a beginner and you're learning English, that's a phrase that you will see in textbooks a lot. Please repeat. And of course, it's correct. You can say it and your native speaker will know what you mean. But actually, nobody really uses this phrase in day-to-day conversations. Instead, in British English especially, people tend to say, pardon me, excuse me, or sorry. You can also say it again. The next one is a big one. It's my name is. And of course, it's correct, but real English native speakers will most likely say I am instead of my name is. So for example, I'm John, I'm Jenny, that kind of thing, rather than my name is John or my name is Jenny. So when you meet new people, you can be simple and brief and just say I am, followed by your name. The next one is, what do you do in your free time? That's a phrase that comes up a lot in textbooks for English learners, but people don't actually use this phrase because it's not very natural. So instead, you will just have a conversation with somebody and things will evolve naturally. So rather than you asking direct questions about what do you do in your free time, the person you're speaking to might mention something like, last weekend I went to the cinema to watch something, and then you start talking about cinema because clearly that's something they're interested in, rather than asking them direct questions like, what do you do in your free time? The next one is something that we all learn as English learners, that when we talk about another person and ourselves, we should say, my friend and I, instead of me and my friend. So for example, my friend and I went to the cinema last night, instead of saying me and my friend went to the cinema last night. So now I'm going to tell you how English native speakers actually speak. So most people you will hear on the streets will just say me and my friend, because that's a more natural way of saying it. You will, of course, hear the correct version, but just to let you know that you're more likely to hear the incorrect version, so to speak. And the next one is also something that could be considered as a grammar mistake. So people use less instead of fewer. So for example, they will say, less people instead of fewer people. So as English learners, we always learn that fewer should be used with countable nouns, so things that you can count, and less should be used with uncountable nouns, such as water. For example, less water. But native English speakers make this mistake all the time, to the extent that it's become accepted and something that many people do all the time. So they will say less people, or less books, or less houses. I know it sounds strange, but that's something people say, especially in British English. So I hope you enjoyed these 8 phrases and words that native speakers never say in English. Let me know in the comments below which one was the most surprising one. And I'll see you next time. Bye!